Maybe the line of the episode, fuck Lois fucking Fingerlady. And anytime we get Charlotte dropping an F-bomb, it's worth its weight in gold.
All right, Caroline, you want to jump us into episode 2?
Absolutely. Everybody, you're here for season 3, episode 2, The Rat Race. We have another moment of Carrie fashion moment. And this is a gorgeous Alex Perry dress. I took another screenshot because this is so quintessential Carrie, her walking in the streets of Manhattan, the construction's happening behind her, and she looks gorgeous. No notes on this look.
Yeah, I love this dress. Like, immediately when the episode started, I was like, oh, love that dress.
I know, we're back. It feels like we're back, minus the fact that she's not single, but we're, 80% of the way there. And we don't know who she's meeting, and she's meeting up with Lisette, her former downstairs neighbor who now lives in the old apartment. And I love this relationship, and I hope we get to see her a little bit more as the season goes on.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because it feels like Carrie gets to mentor her a tiny bit, like throughout her dating life, and it's a fun juxtaposition, I think, of old Carrie to new Carrie.
She's just a fun character, and I do think, unfortunately, that like she's probably only back because of her ties to the apartment.
Of course.
Because I am getting from this episode overall, and we'll get into this, vibes that like the Gramercy apartment is like ultimately not going to work out somehow. Maybe, I don't know. But I was like, I hope that Lisette is a character that we actually get to hear from beyond like Carrie trying to take her apartment back.
I know, because, she sort of leads us into what the theme of the episode is that she's complaining to Carrie, she's in a relationship with her phone, which ties back to issues we see with Carrie and Aiden. And it's a horrible time to be dating. Little does she know, Carrie's having her own issues dating, to the point that she just wants to get rid of her phone, and she throws her phone in the middle of this bar in New York, and some hot man catches it.
Correct. Because of course, if I threw my phone, it would just break. And that's that.
and then you'd be spending $2,000 on a new phone. It would be terrible.
I thought this was so sweet. But I will say this, I did take the note, like, maybe I just have no fashion sense, but I think this necklace is ugly.
But, Carrie loves to wear sentimental things around her neck, including her engagement ring. So it's sort of, I could see this sort of necklace going with sort of the chunkier maxi dress stuff that she's wearing now. So it kind of like leans into the sort of bohemian style I feel like Carrie kind of is.
For sure. And I think like having the number of the address on it is so, so cute. I just did not like this necklace.
You don't want to wear your address around your neck?
I mean, I would. I just don't. I think it's just the metal work. I do not. There's something about it that I just think is ugly. But I have no fashion sense, so it doesn't matter.
We also haven't seen the rest of Lisette's jewelry line, which I'd love to see to compare. What is this? What is her metal work in general?
What is her overall
design
style? I don't know.
We have no idea, but we're led into the LTW and Charlotte plotline of the week. They're kind of turning into Scooby-Doo characters, the two of them.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
It's like Charlotte and LTW are in a separate world, it feels like, from Miranda, Seema, and Carrie. And they are met with this group of women from the private school where they're talking about a mysterious figure of the week, Lois Fingerlady.
Who is naming the people in this show? I really need to know.
Like, it felt like a Watergate deep throat, like Lois Fingerlady. Who is Lois Fingerlady? What sort of role are they playing in this world? As we meet the Gossip Girl parents that are huddling in front of the house, and for some reason, or in front of the school, and they're hiding from Charlotte and LTW, that they've met with Lois Fingerlady to help secure their kids' place at school, and they're realizing they need to make the connection. And we go to one of my favorite guest stars, Tim Bagley from Somebody Somewhere. Which you have not watched, stop the podcast and watch.
Yeah, seriously, stop and go watch the sweetest thing that will ever be on television. And he's just a joy. He's so funny and sweet in like every role he does. I love him.
I know, he's like a very like sitcom staple, and I really love like getting to see him in the mix, and I hope we get to see him again as Principal, because that would be such a fun character to have in the world. And they want to know more about Lois Fingerhood, aka the Finger.
It makes sense that Lily's college application process is going to be like a story arc for Charlotte because she's the right age for that.
I do wonder also, is Brady in college? We seem to have just like completely, he's just having sex and no one cares what's happening with his life.
No, and like, to be honest, fair.
Right. Yeah, valid. And of course, more Fingerlady. We just can't stop talking about her. LTW, our Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine case of the week. They gotta find Lois Fingerhood.
It's not helping that she's also dressed like a Scooby-Doo character.
No, she looks like Velma meets Daphne.
Yes, 100%. And the two of them, I think it's such a joy to see these two actresses in cahoots with each other. Like, they're having a lot of fun with this duo. It is fun to see Charlotte have a best friend that is not the core original four. I think that's fun.
And I think LTW really fits in Charlotte's world in a way 100%. That the other two don't. So I think it's nice that there's someone that's like not Anthony, but we have someone else that goes along her side.
Yes, because like Charlotte has always felt, not so much in the extended universe, but in the original series, she kind of always feels to the viewer like, what are you doing being friends with these women? But then we do see in that one episode her having lunch with her sorority sisters, and she like doesn't really fit in with them anymore either. So yeah, it's cool to have a character that like is so much like Charlotte for Charlotte to bounce off of.
And we didn't have to hear about the documentary this week. It just I support women working, but I don't think LTW wants to talk about this documentary that much.
No, we need more female directors, but this is the most boring plotline.
And then we are brought to Carrie's writing. She's in her backyard and she's writing. It feels like things are happening, and then the rats are coming in like Les Mis.
Yes. Oh my god, and they flooded in.
Shocking. The amount of, how are there 40 rats in her backyard?
And I love the symmetry of her talking to the squirrel in this versus in the country house episode with Aiden.
Truly. I know. It's a fun, Carrie's grown. Some people like to say Carrie hasn't grown, and I think she has, you know?
Yes. I have felt this way for the, 20 plus years that I have been watching Sex and the City.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Jessica Parker's scream or like screech or like startled noise is very upsetting to me emotionally. I find it very startling.
I think it makes you think of her in Hocus Pocus, because I feel that was like the way that she would use it as like the dumb blonde character in that, and it's the range that she has, you know?
I don't want to give Sarah Jessica Parker acting notes, but like I need to hear a different type of scream. The scream that she does not indicate comedy to me. It indicates like something has gone incredibly wrong. Like it's just too high stakes for the situation.
Well, she is a theater girly, so I think it's a stage scream and not an on-camera scream. She debates texting Aiden about the rat situation. Okay, this was interesting to me that Carrie is fully a voice-to-text person and not a texting person.
I had a thought, too, where I was like, why is she doing this? It's because now that Carrie and Aiden are in this long-distance relationship, for the viewer, I'm assuming they were like, it's not going to be fun for them to just read a big chunky block of text.
Yeah,
and so instead, they have given them to Carrie as, like, monologues.
Carrie probably wants to call him so badly, and she feels like she's in this place in their relationship where she can only reach out to him when he reaches out to her.
Yes.
Which, going back to the country episode, it makes me think of when Big and Aiden talk to each other, where Big said, she has access to me, but I don't have access to her.
No, she can reach me. I can't reach her. And you and I have been poisoned by the show in the same way because I also had the same thought.
Going back to her waiting 5 years, it's just, I do not want Carrie to be stuck in this cycle of waiting for Aiden to reach out to her for 5 years. And also, if your son has gone through such a significant trauma, then cut ties with Carrie and let her be free because you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Yes,
Period.
100,000%. He's being toxic in like a kind of similar way that Carrie was toxic to him, of like,
yeah,
wanting part but not all.
She tells him, I really really wish you were here. And then I think she eventually erases the entire text because she realizes, I don't want to bother him about the rats. Even though you had rats. Call your boyfriend. If you can't call your boyfriend about rats, then
what can you call him about? I mean,
yeah.
I came home yesterday and walked in the door and I was like, Jim, I sprayed a cockroach to death today in the basement of work. And there was no way I wasn't going to tell him that.
No, that's the first thing, that's top of the agenda.
If I get swarmed by like a Greek chorus worth of rats, like, yeah, my significant other's going to know about it.
And then we're brought to my favorite plot line of the week. And Miranda is at work, and the younger staff, they're talking and watching something on their phone called Buy Bingo. Now, then I spent a million times trying to figure out what is the logistics of Buy Bingo.
Great question.
It's a 30 Rock show. At the end of the day, it's a 30 Rock show.
It's MILF Island. It's 1,000% MILF Island.
I love it because my complaint with most reality dating shows is that they are very heteronormative. So to have a bi dating show like this is intriguing, and I do wish it existed because
I do wish it existed too. The Ultimatum Queer Love is a show that Jim and I got very into, and all of the stuff surrounding Bi Bingo very much reminded me of like us becoming very overly invested in Ultimatum Queer Love.
Oh, I love that. And then Miranda is poo-pooing the show, and then suddenly she is interested and wants to know more. And this made me think of when she watched Jules and Mimi in season 6 and was upset when Magda erased her DVR.
Oh my God.
The TiVo. She had a relationship with TiVo.
No. Oh my God. I was also thinking of when she first was like, this looks idiotic. I was like, bitch, I remember a certain Miranda Hobbs who loved her tabloid magazines and who clicked on the Smith Jarrett sex video that Samantha was in.
When she was in the middle of the woods.
Come on, Miranda. We know you're interested.
We know your core. You're trash at your core. You may be a lawyer working for human rights, but you love trash like the rest of us.
Correct.
But it felt nice that this was felt like a return to form for Miranda. I think this was such in line with who she is as a character. I think we're getting the Miranda we know and love back. And then we are back at Carrie's apartment, and they have taken everything from the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, I would have asked them to do the same thing. I would have gone scorched earth. A group of rats that large would be that close to the door of my home, which, as we see in the rest of this episode, Carrie is very negligent about closing the door.
I know.
So I'm like, not only is Shu gonna get out, like, yeah, you better get all of those rats out because Carrie is gonna leave the door open while she's like writing her novel about 1846, and then she's gonna have rats in her house.
I know. Is she writing Gilded Age fan fiction?
Unclear. I did write in my notes, why 1846?
I think because the house was 1846.
Oh my God. My attention to detail, not excellent.
No, it's perfect. There's a lot of weird details that I like to hang on to in this show because it is ultimately, I'm like, how did this make the cut? But, you know.
Okay, so she's like imagining
the woman who lived in this house. Very Last American Great Dynasty, like Taylor's song and folklore. That's about the house that she bought in Rhode Island. That was a Kennedy, and that's about her, blah, 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 blah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Haven't heard it. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's on folklore. And then Shu, we've had a false alarm. Shu has tried to escape, but we are rescued. And then we see the most horrifying thing that I've ever seen to be hiding in the closet, and that is Aiden. is hiding in the
Yes.
closet.
Yes, there he is. I would have needed to be taken to the hospital if
Aiden showed up in your closet.
I'm so easily startled. Like, I will literally hear Jim coming down the hall. Like, I'll know he's in the apartment. I'll hear him coming down the hallway, and yet I will still scream when he appears in the doorway.
I mean, as a woman, it just kind of feels like we're on alert for everything. You can't sneak up on a woman like that.
I think with me specifically, I just get really in my own world with whatever I'm doing.
I did not take the screenshot of it, but Carrie saying, "Oh my god, I almost had a heart attack," which feels like a very wild sentence for her to say post big.
Little bit insensitive, but that being said, she gave it about a year before she
was started her last ex.
Grief takes many forms.
And
all grief is valid.
And some of it leads to Aiden being in your closet. And
some of it leads to Aiden sitting in his truck, licking his hand, and everyone who's watching wishing
that we could all get the Men in Black laser so I could forget that happened.
I wanted that wiped from my memory so badly.
And then Charlotte and Anthony are out for a classic walk. And Charlotte's too wrapped up in her world, worried about Lois Fingerhood. That Anthony says Lois Fingerfuck. Can't wait.
Naturally.
And we come to be revealed that Hot Fellas is getting a new brick and mortar location, or as Anthony says, a dick and mortar.
Oh my god. I just wrote the note. I feel like Anthony's whole character is a relic of a time when this is how we thought queer people should be funny on TV, and the show has not updated it. Also, like, low-key, he is a very abusive boss to the hot fella.
Oh, if Anthony is canceled by the end of the season, I wouldn't be shocked. There's a cut article waiting to be written about Anthony. Carrie and Aiden are back in the kitchen. She's telling Aiden, I just felt like I couldn't text you about the rats. That she's lost about the whole conversation, and he tells her, "Oh, you can text me anytime."
Yeah. This conversation made me nervous. Like, I feel like Carrie is actually doing a really good job of, like, being communicative, and like, it's funny because, like, on the one end, I'm like, wow, it's really refreshing to see Carrie Bradshaw be, like, an emotionally responsible person in a relationship and, like, communicate things, because she's so bad about that in the series. It's infuriating. But at the same time, like, it's less fun to watch her not just be a messy bitch.
I know. But I will say, for her, too, it's like, oh, God, it feels like she's dating this avoidant attachment figure, and she feels like she's not deserving of her basic needs being met in a relationship, and she's sort of creating this container with which she can communicate with him, and it sucks. She's in her 50s.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been in this relationship where, like, in person, when you try to, like, be like, these are the things that, like, I'm feeling right now, and in person, they, like, really sort of validate you, and they're like, no, it's fine, it's great, and then, like, as soon as they are not right in front of you, the communication is just absolutely terrible, and it just made me concerned. Also, I'm sorry, what the fuck is with this kitchen? Why is it so small?
I'm wondering if she was like, this makes me nostalgic for my other apartment.
I guess, but like, your apartment has 2 floors. There is a staircase in the apartment, and this kitchen is so small and, like, kind of shitty looking.
I think Carrie has, like, the interior design issue where it's, like, it's amazing except for one thing always. Like, the fact that the old apartment, she was sleeping in a full-size bed with bookshelves above it. Like, there's always something a little off. But also, Carrie never uses her kitchen.
She does not. It was not what I expected out of, like, this insanely expensive giant apartment.
We've moved back to Buy Bingo, and Miranda is obsessed. She's still watching. And then Carrie is debating another text to Aiden. I just really loved this outfit. She looked amazing right here.
That is a good outfit. That is a very good outfit.
I really love this outfit. Also, and now I'm just realizing she got Shu a kitty laptop.
Oh my god, is that what that is? It is?
Shu, what are you writing?
So many rats outside, not allowed to eat any of them.
And then Carrie drafting this long text to Aiden, and it's another voice to text moment. Now, here's what I would like to settle on for a minute. This is Carrie's home screen.
Oh no, that's what came with the phone.
The only thing that is different is that app in the lower right. She's never used any of those other apps.
No. Wait a minute, is this... Wait, it's not even... The screen is not filled to the bottom with apps.
No, she only has one app.
Wait a minute, what?
And there are no texts that she hasn't responded to. There are no missed calls.
This is like a serial killer's burner phone. Like, this is not... Carrie has notoriously never been, like, tech savvy and never necessarily cared about being tech savvy. But the fact that this is what her home screen looks like is absurd.
It's like, also, she mentioned in season 1 she uses Instagram. We don't even have Instagram on this screen.
We do not. We do not. We have nothing. We have almost nothing. I'm sorry. Is she using the Safari app that came with the phone? What is wrong with you?
Is she using the Books app? Like, none of these, no one uses any of these apps. These are the ones you delete.
Correct, 1,000%.
Yeah, sorry,
Oh
we needed to look at this. This was just such a psycho behavior on his telephone.
100%. She was sending Aiden the table, right? Like the picture of the table. Once again, maybe I just have horrible taste, but I thought that was the ugliest IKEA-ass table. Like, I did not think there was anything special about it.
And the fact that she said that table was the essence of them.
Okay, continue. I just wanted to put it out there that either I have horrible taste and, like, don't understand the finer things in life, or, like, I'm being gaslit by this show. Because that necklace was ugly and that table is ugly.
And also, Aiden designs furniture. Why is he not putting any effort into the furniture in this house?
Yeah, well, in general, he's not putting effort into really anything in this house, and that makes me concerned. She's making a lot of, like, we statements about the home that, like, I don't know. I don't think that is being, like, mirrored by Aiden.
Not being reciprocated whatsoever. But the girls are at lunch, and I feel so soothed.
Yes, I feel most at peace when the girls are at lunch.
Yeah, talking about a text that she has sent Aiden about this table, and he has not responded. Everyone's got different issues we're about to talk about, but we are introduced to Guacamole Girl.
Yes, there she is. In her halter top.
Yeah, I think her name is Ava, which is a recurring name on this network, on HBO Max. Ava is the name of the moment.
She's cool. She's, like, not, like, a regular girl. She's Ava.
Ava makes guacamole at the table.
Ava the white lady makes tableside guac at this Mexican restaurant.
That probably cost $80. Like, I have a 9 million questions about this guacamole. But Miranda's talking about Buy Bingo, and Guacamole Girl is also watching Buy Bingo. The attention is peaked. And then Seema starts talking about how she's hate dating because we're hate watching Buy Bingo, we're hate dating. So we get a montage of Seema going out on dates. There are 5 types of men in New York, and we sort of see her run through all of them.
This was actually a very fun sequence, and some of the better writing that we have seen from the series. Possibly also just really incredible delivery from Sarita Chowdhury. I feel like this whole podcast is going to be, like, me fangirling about Sarita Chowdhury, but, like, I feel like she's bringing so much emotional depth to this character, and, like, it's fun because we're, like, getting the Samantha element of, like, a woman in her 50s who's, like, sex positive, but there's also this element of, like, she actually wants to find love. I don't know. I just really enjoyed this, and I thought it was well written and well acted.
Also, her legs look amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, she looks, and every, like, different outfit they put her in, and I was like, this is it. We want the outfits. We want more. More is more for the most part on it, just like that. Except for when it's too much.
Unless it's a collection of wicker balls.
And then we should take a note. And then we're brought back to Miranda's office when we're reunited with Joy. Yes, the British news announcer.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they met the UN in season 2. Pops by Miranda's office. She's surprised.
She's a power lesbian.
We need more power lesbians on the show, and so this was a really fun scene, I thought, for Miranda. We see that the bubbling of a little crush that maybe we're going to see more of. Who's to say?
I thought this was a really cute scene. And, like, again, classic Miranda, like the witty banter, like that has always been the way Miranda has flirted, has always been through witty banter. And this woman can, like, match her. And so it's really, really fun. Also, just in general, I think that, like, Cynthia Nixon is such an incredible dramatic actress, and in the tail end of the original series and the movies, like with the whole like Steve cheating thing, we've had a lot of like pained Miranda, and like Cynthia Nixon is up to the challenge of it, and it's been like, you know, very impressive, but also like I am very much enjoying seeing like happy, excited, dating quippy Miranda again, because like pained Miranda was a long period of time.
It was a dark winter. We've come out the other side, and the Scooby-Doo gang is back. They are on the
back
hunt
to solve another mystery.
They are at a random teen softball game in the middle of New York City, hunting for Lois Fingerhood. Who is Lois Fingerhood? Where is Lois Fingerhood? And we have found her in the form of Kristen Shaw.
There she is. Good casting.
Excellent, perfect casting. If I had to pick Lois Fingerhood, Kristen Shaw is who I'm picking for Lois Fingerhood.
100%.
And they are stalking her at her son's game, and they have acquired 30 seconds of her time for their kid's future, which sends them both on a frenzy to find their kids. And Lily is playing the piano in ballet class when Charlotte is calling her, which causes Charlotte to show up in person when Lily is making out with him.
Yes. And, okay, we established last episode that he is 20 years old?
Correct.
And Lily is 16,
16 going on 17.
Regardless, she is underage.
Correct.
They're making out.
And because Lois Fingerhood is going to determine her future.
So she needs to get out of playing piano on Thursday.
And then LTW has gone to the lacrosse field to also intercept and tell her son.
I am loving Nicole Ari Parker. I think she's a fantastic comedic actress. Like, totally. She's been making me laugh, and like this scene was no exception.
The two of them got to be in real hijinks this episode, because I think the last episode was just such a weird plot for both of them dealing with the dog, and this like felt like something true to the both of them. So this was kind of goofy. Yeah. The
stakes are real here because they are the kind of Manhattan moms that want to get their kids into good schools.
They gotta get into Princeton. They gotta get into Columbia. So this is exactly in line with who they are. And we then go to Seema's office, and she has told her assistant, no calls from this man. I lose my number. And then we meet.
I think he's her partner. And I think we briefly met him in one of the previous seasons. But yeah, I need to hear more from this guy. He was very funny and very interesting. Like, where have they been hiding him?
I know, he feels like, you know, in Christmas movies where they introduce you this man with like white hair, like it's a Santa character, like a wink wink. That's what this guy felt like.
Yeah.
Like, later we find out he's Santa.
Yeah. He's gay real estate Santa.
Gay real estate Santa. He's going to fix Seema's dating life and has set her up on a date that she thinks is with a man. And she shows up, and it's Sherry O'Terry. The matchmaker.
Honestly, again, great casting. Kristen Shaw was great casting. This is excellent casting as well.
And she tells Seema she needs to change everything about herself for her dating life, for her to get a man. She needs to not be so upfront. She needs to be softer and be a different kind of woman so she can, you know, catch a man. Which, you know, we've all done that at some point or another, but does it ever work?
That felt a little weird to me just because I was like, that feels really dated. Like,
correct.
This is the kind of advice that like Charlotte would be giving the girls in like, I don't know, season 3 out of some like self-help book she was reading. So it feels weird in 2025, but Seema is dating, like, rich older dudes, so, like,
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I would never fucking take this advice in my life, but...
No, absolutely. But, it's, well-meaning advice. She's been successful. And I just enjoyed her interactions with the waiter staff.
Yes!
Like her saying well done for the cocktail that she got.
Yeah. It's a fun character, and she is playing it well, for sure.
Yeah.
I am curious how many more episodes we're going to get, but, like, her overall energy reminds me a lot of when Amy Sedaris and Molly Shannon are playing Carrie's editors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, okay, if there are other SNL women from that era, I would love Anna Gasteyer to show up.
I think she would fit really nicely.
Then, okay, this random woman had one line. Carrie goes to use chemicals, they're going to get rid of the rats. And this woman shows up on a bicycle saying, I hope they use organic, non-toxic chemicals. Is she related to the woman from last week in The Fur is Murder? Because they feel like they're from the same universe. They
do absolutely feel like they're from the same universe. I also wonder how many auditions and callbacks this actress had to do for this one line.
I know. Okay, so we're into another take of You on the Bike. And then Lisa Fingerhood has finally made her appearance and has destroyed both Herbert and Lily, telling them they need to change everything they were doing if they were going to get into an Ivy League school.
I mean, this was like very Scooby-Doo, like physical comedy. We're breathing into a paper bag. Like
Herbert has, questioning all of his life choices to this point, which leads to maybe the line of the episode, fuck Lois fucking finger fuck. And anytime we get Charlotte dropping an F-bomb, it's worth its weight in gold. And of course it has the perfect timing of Lois Fingerhood coming back in, overhearing the entire conversation, and they have ruined all chances with Lois getting them into a school, and maybe it's for the best. The Scooby-Doo gang learned that the ability to go to school is inside of them all along.
College was the friends we made along the way.
Absolutely. So we've wrapped up the Scooby-Doo gang plot of the episode, and we are back to Seema is now on the date that Sydney has set her up with. She's in lighter pastel. She has a very straight blowout, and she's wearing fake pearls. It feels very DAR Junior League,
God, DA. Wow. Yeah, I do not love her in this. It very much ages her, that blouse in particular.
Ugh, yeah. And she's just listening to this man go on and on about the money he's giving to his brother. She's just nodding, and finally he says, oh, you're such a great listener. You've not even talked about yourself. And then finally, Seema's had enough and says, well, actually, this is who I am. And that she is a woman who speaks her mind. She didn't like the Cabernet. She feels like the Easter Bunny side piece in this outfit. And she thinks that he's responded very well. He's like, no, this is very nice. And he leaves the table and excuses himself to go to the bathroom. And our girl, Sydney, was there the whole time.
I did not realize that he was going to the bathroom to leave, to ghost her.
Same. I know, I guess maybe men of that sort of tax bracket, we know nothing about them, but I think that they're able to dispose of people in a way that we're not familiar with, and I think...
Oh!
That's
what do you mean?
What do you mean? That's what he's able, because Sydney's doing a service for him, and say, please end the relationship. And Seema tells Sydney she'll no longer be needing her services. She's fine the way that she is, and Sydney tells her she'll be alone. And I hope it's not the last that we see of Sydney, because again, like we said, I really enjoyed this character, but we got left with a wonderful beat with the server. Can I have a fresh fork?
Yeah. I'm gonna eat their tiramisu. I hope we see her again, because I really like this character. That being said, I'm not sure where they're going, because, the moral of this plot line cannot be that, Seema needs to become a different, more understated person. So, is Sydney gonna be, humbled? Are they gonna hook up?
Who's to say? Is she gonna hook up with Miranda? We'll see.
Yeah, could be.
Could be. And then we're brought back to another lunch. We're so happy when the girls are at lunch.
We're back at tableside guacs.
Tableside guacs, and Carrie very quickly puts it together that Miranda's asked her back because we've got to see Ava and she's using her as a guacamole beard.
Mm-hmm.
And with Carrie talking about obsessing over the response that she's gotten from Aiden, because all he sent her was a thumbs down to the table.
On the table, which,
yeah,
not great, since she sent him this whole long thing and also had literally just had the conversation with him earlier that day that, like, she feels like she can't, like, communicate with him. So not great. That being said, I was like, Carrie, you dumb bitch. Like,
I know.
Just talk to him about it. Like, all of this, like, emotional maturity that we saw in the beginning when she's, like, talking to him, I'm like, you're really just not gonna say anything to him now? That annoyed me.
Or maybe end it. I don't know.
Yeah, or that. Ultimately, yes.
And then we're discovering that Miranda has gotten the gumption, the bravery, the courage to ask out Ava. And Ava is straight.
Yeah, straight women will do that to you.
I know.
Sorry.
What was the show she said? Oh, she's like, I watched Walking Dead, but I'm not a zombie.
But I'm not a zombie, and I'm like, not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not even close. But we're proud of Miranda for making the effort, and then Carrie's in the bathroom working on another text to Aiden in response to the emoji, starting with, hey dude, what's your beef?
Okay, Carrie, sure.
Sure. And also, this outfit, again, very hot. Very intimate.
I love this outfit on her. Nobody pulls off the color nude better than Sarah Jessica Parker. The rest of us just look like worm condoms. But she manages to look amazing.
She looks incredible. And, okay, now I would like to look at the recently used emojis on Carrie's phone.
Oh, great.
Why is Carrie has not used that elf emoji ever in her life. The Zelda emoji?
Yeah, what is this?
She's landed on the rolling eyes emoji to send in response. Mm-hmm. She wrote out as women before her and women will continue to do, write an entire paragraph, erase it, and then just send an emoji with the subtext of 1,000 words.
Yes.
And will Aiden get it? Probably not. And you can kind of see the table above that. That table, it looks like when you go to a cafeteria.
Yeah, I was gonna say like conference room.
A Marriott.
Yes. Yes, that is a Marriott conference room table.
So I'm questioning Carrie's taste in interior design, but
yes.
We've got the girls back walking and talking in the park after Miranda has told her she's asked out Ava, but says she has a crush on Joy. And Carrie encourages her to ask out the classic lesbian.
Do it, Miranda. Go for it.
And then we have one of the more unhinged exits when she goes to meet the landscaper. When we find out she does use the woman dancing in red dress emoji. Woo!
Yes. Carrie's not even fully real distaste for like the way current communication is. Like, people use emojis. I don't know. An older generation getting angry about emojis is like, what year is it?
Yeah. Emojis have been around for a decade at least at this point.
Like get real, Carrie.
Carrie has gone home and Shu has been let out, but has led us to our gardener landscaper, Adam of Adam Gardens.
And I wrote in my notes, okay, hello, Adam Gardens. Oy, oy, oy.
I know. Had a hair, a beard.
I have seen this actor and other things, and he's an attractive man.
This looks like a man that played John Proctor in The Crucible at least 2 or 3 times. They have a nice, meet cute with him rescuing Shu, and we're led into the house. Mm-hmm. And we go to the backyard, and he asks Carrie what her vision is, and she asks him, what do you think? And then he, Meisner's her asking, what do you think? And she tells us from this, we're starting from scratch. She doesn't know what comes next. And he tells her that's a very wonderful place to be in. We're feeling energy and vibes between them. And Carrie goes to put Shu inside, goes up her spiral staircase, and we get the voiceover of her writing her novel, and she's looking out the window at Adam of Adam Gardens.
Obviously, it feels like they're setting him up as a romantic interest, and maybe I can't quite tell how old he's supposed to be. It's definitely like an age gap romance of sorts. That being said, I did watch the preview for next week, and there was kind of like a weird flirty introductory moment with Seema and Adam Gardens, and I was like, are we going toward a love triangle with the gardener? Like, what are we doing?
I know, which would be interesting, because I was trying to think there wasn't a lot of overlap of them ever having interest in the same person on Sex and the City.
The girls having it. Yeah, no, I feel like that, I don't have any memory of that happening,
I think just the once was maybe like season 1 where Samantha's interested in Big for 10 seconds.
Right. And
but then very quickly is gone.
Miranda dates one of Carrie's exes who's an asshole.
Yeah.
I will say the fact that he's a gardener has me thinking about the episode of the original series when Trey's sister or sister-in-law is like, I saw Charlotte kissing the gardener. And she fantasizes having sex with the gardener in the rose bushes.
Yeah.
A scene that younger Andi rewound and played again more than once.
I mean, the muscles on him, if I remember in particular, it was very ripped.
My curiosity is sparked by Adam Gardens. Also, he's nice to look at. Nicer to look at than Big or Aiden, because I have never been sexually attracted to either of them.
Honestly, I left this episode very content, which feels nerve-wracking for Just Like Yap, because that means what is ahead for episode 3? I don't know. Yeah, but
definitely a better episode than episode 1. Definitely has more like classic Sex and the City elements. Do you want to cap us off with And Just Like That?
And just like that, the Scooby-Doo gang lived to see another day.